friends, and welcome to League on Lock. Eric and Mark here for another tumultuous Tuesday. I don't know why it's tumultuous, but I needed an alliteration, so I went with tumultuous.
It's a pretty big word. That's a strong vocabulary flex right there.
You got to have a lot of syllables to sound smarter than you really are. It's Power Rankings time. We're a day late, but we're still going through them for Week 3, right before the break for Rift Rivals, which we will be previewing all this week, so get hyped for that. I know there hasn't been a whole bunch of lead up from Riot, but it's coming, I promise. But we're starting with Power Rankings, starting in North America, where it is a log jam at the top of the standings after Week 3. A lot of 1-1s going around, a couple 2-0s, but we got 4 teams tied at 4-2. But Team Liquid still reigns supreme, same as last week. Even though they went 1-1 and they lost to Clutch, they're still sitting as the top dogs in NA.
Yeah, when you're looking at the victories that Team Liquid have had and the method of how they've crushed their opponents in them, you can't have them anywhere other than that top spot in the Power Rankings. Absolute powerhouse right now. Everything is working for them, and especially that bot lane of Doublelift and Ole. There was questions coming from MSI about that relationship and how well they were actually going to be able to work together and you know, come through some of the difficulties. It's absolutely smashing right now.
Except when they pick Ezreal over Kai'Sa and get smashed by Clutch. But we'll ignore that game because they dumpstered Echo Fox. That's why they're number 1. 100 Thieves, another 2-0 week after a rough 0-2 start. They continue their climb. They're up 4 spots. And they haven't had the toughest competition outside of that first week, but I mean, Someday was an absolute animal. Cody Sun continues to run that funnel comp to perfection, and they're looking pretty good despite all the drama surrounding their roster right now. Meteos looked pretty good in the last week.
Yeah, that's kind of the craziest thing right now is the guy that's not going to be there in the future was one of the best looking members of this roster. Meteos certainly was stepping up his performance in the last couple of weeks, and again, another member of the 100 Thieves, Someday, definitely brought his A game this week. Really liked what he had.
And now he's not going to be playing at Rift Rivals. Well, that's his reward. Coming in number 3, you had Echo Fox, who did go down a spot. Obviously, that tough loss to Liquid is one of the main reasons they went down. And I just have not been super confident in them the last couple weeks. They should not have beat Cloud9. They should have had an 0-2 week.
Yeah, that one, I do not know how that's even possible there. But with Echo Fox, yes, they have been picking up the wins that they need to have, 4-2 here with the rest of the NA LCS. But the thing that is troubling for me, as someone who has been, big on the Echo Fox hype wagon this year, is definitely watching them have, these struggles and feeding almost in some of these games that they've been having. Yeah, and it's certainly a cause for concern here. They look, you know what, they just look unorganized and sloppy sometimes out on the Rift, which is not what we've come to expect from such a hyper-aggressive team that knows exactly what their objectives and win conditions are. They need to clean it up.
Yeah, we thought that would suit them in this meta, but it hasn't the last couple of weeks. Clutch stays at number 4, even though they have a worse record than TSM. They have some big wins this split. Obviously, they beat TSM, and they pretty handily dismantled Liquid. And anytime you do that against the top dogs in NA, you're going to find yourself sitting pretty in the power rankings.
There's just some unpredictability with Clutch Gaming on exactly what team you're going to be getting for that day, because sometimes you're getting a team that looks a lot like a 7th or 8th place NA LCS team, and then other times Febivin hard carries. Lyra brought his brain to the game and turns it on and gets things going on in the jungle. Or even if that's not working, you've got Solo able to pop off in the top lane, and then of course Haku Yes and Apollo in the bot lane there. Clutch Gaming has enough to get it done and to be a strong team in the NA LCS. Just need to see some consistency from that roster.
Apollo still leading the LCS in kills. Rounding out the top 5, Team Solo made us up a couple of spots. Again, they have a better record than Clutch, but not exactly a confident 2-0 week from them. Still 2-0 week nonetheless. They're sitting at 4-2. Expect them to continue to improve. Then CLG is down a few spots, mainly because a lot of other teams have kind of shifted up. So CLG sitting at 3-3. They're still looking like a pretty solid team going forward. FlyQuest up 3 spots. I did not expect them to go 2-0. Santorin all of a sudden looks great. That's crazy.
Heck yeah, that was an awesome week for them. They've been showing some steady improvement given their roster and what you had there, and it maybe should have taken them a little bit longer here to figure it out, but we're finally seeing it get going here. You're seeing this meta finally start to be well understood, I think, by the FlyQuest players and coaching staff as well, and you're starting to see them pick the champions that are a little bit off meta, or a little off role exactly, I should say, but they're finding their way to work it here. You know, putting Wild Turtle on the Morgana, things like that are great choices to make. So I really think that FlyQuest is turning it around.
Golden Guardians also now outside of the top 5 for the first time
tough week.
in our power rankings. They're down to 8th, Optic at 9th, and Cloud9 1-5. They get a lead in every single game. They can't close it out. The worst start in the history of the organization. We'll see if they can bounce back, but right now they are looking like a team that can't close out games and a bottom feeder in the NA LCS, which is sad.
This is really sad because Cloud9 is NA's only hope of making it out of groups, pretty much historically.
Yeah,
so
they got their work cut out for them to get to that
not
point.
looking like it.
Standout performer from week 3 goes to 100 Thieves someday, of course. The guy was an absolute animal in that top lane. 24 KDA is actually a lie. He didn't die, so it's infinite. He had more than half the team's kills and a damage per minute of almost 600, which is pretty absurd for a top laner. Played the Jax and the Gangplank. Consider yourself lucky, Europe, that you don't have to go up against this guy.
I've seen some disgusting Jax come up against my teams playing League of Legends, and I've seen some even more gross Jax in professional League of Legends. I haven't seen a Jax this disgusting ever. Someday was an absolute Godzilla-style monster out there on the Rift.
4-man stun to save the game, of course.
Demolishing them. This was just incredible performance this week from Someday. Definitely saying, hey, you want to put Brandini in here? This is what you're going to be missing. Get a load of this. Someday brought his A game, and I love to see what he had this week.
This is one of the main reasons, performances like this, because coming into this week, I think people were a little down on him, but I don't want 100 Thieves to be subbing him out. I think if they want Levi in that starting lineup, they've got to go out and find a domestic mid laner somewhere, because losing Someday, even if you're more confident in Brandini than some other domestic mids, you got to keep Someday in the lineup if he's going to perform like this, which he's shown he can do.
100 Thieves, you got to pay a king's ransom. Get golden glue out of Cloud9.
There we go.
Pick them up.
Golden glue on 100 Thieves. That's what Mark and I want to see going forward.